Okay, so I have to do this over because of the fact that TikTok muted my first video. I don't get it. I don't know. Um, that's messed up. I'm hoping they unmute my video. But, so now I have to do this all over again. So, when I was 16, I lived with my mom in her apartment um, in Edgewater, and we were right next door to these people that were supposed to be like they were my friends, I thought, and our apartments were adjacent. So, anyways, I had went over there one day and I had oh, I don't know how I do that. Force habit. I was sitting on the couch and this girl on the phone was talking about selling her 4-month old baby for a piece of rock. So I had a problem with that. So I got up and I don't really know what I said. Is something in the lines of like, did you really say that? And so anyways, she had texted her mom and her mom had came in. I didn't hear her. I didn't see her. And she grabbed me by my hair, by the back of my head, and she threatened to throw me over the balcony because we lived on the second floor. And mind you, this whole time her door was open. And so next thing I know is I'm laying on my stomach in her kitchen. And the guy I was dating, his name was Sean. I'm respectful enough to not to give last names. But even though he was standing at the head of my head, and then there was two guys standing on each side of me at my ribs, and there was a guy standing between my legs. Now mind you, I'm on my stomach. And the guy I was with him for on like a year or a little more, maybe give or take some time. And there was a couple of moments that were like sweet, you know. Like one time, I don't know what the deal was. His mom and his aunt were away, and he did this thing where he did the candles and he had cooked me some food and we sat on the couch and talked and for on a little bit, but I never, I mean, I have, but it wasn't great. But anyways, not point. I was with him on and off for like a year, a little over a year, and we had issues. He had come to me one time asking me if I thought it was okay if he could start going out with this other girl named Megan. She was kind of a big girl. And of course, my mind says, like, it took me back a minute, but I was like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like, and he was sitting down in front of the apartment crying, with his arms over his legs and just his face in his arms and stuff. I'm so sorry, and this and that. And, dude, if that's what you want. But, anyways, so he drop kicked me in my head 5 times that night when I was laying there because he was there. All the girls, mind you, before this started, had went in the bedroom. And, the two girls were sisters, and I really thought they were, like, really good friends and that they respected me and stuff like that. And appreciated my company because she would always invite me to go to the fair and the circus and stuff like that with them. And it was really nice because I felt accepted. I felt, wanted around. And all that good stuff. But the other two guys, the guys that were like on each side of me, they were drop kicking me in my ribs and stomping on my back. The guy that was standing between my legs was kicking me between my legs. Mind you, who's kicking me in my butt cheeks because that was, pretty well covered. But when the guy I was dating drop kicked me in my head 5 times, I had lost consciousness and I had passed out. And when I had came to, the girl that was supposed to be my really good friend, before I even opened my eyes, I heard her say, "Is she dead? Did we kill her?" I died inside that day. A big piece of me died inside that day. As I heard her say that about me. And it came out that, like, this whole time I thought it was because I wanted to step up to this girl because she was talking about selling her baby for a piece of crack rock. And then I later learned out, I don't know who I heard it from, but I later learned out that that was all a ploy. That this was set up and everybody was in on it. And somebody had went back and told her that I wanted her man Tony, and I didn't. I had a lot of respect for him because he was a really good family man, and I had a really lot of respect for their relationship. And they had a cute, I think he was like 6 or 7 year old little boy, and he was a doll baby. He was adorable. Very well mannered. I mean, he had his temperaments, but all kids do. But it took like everything in me to get up off the floor, and I had some gas in my chest. So I went outside, and I guess she was big enough to call the cops. At least she was big enough to do that, right? And so he asked to speak with me outside. And I don't know what they had told him or if they had even talked to him at all. But the door was still open at this point. But I was talking to him out on the porch, and he had me lift up my shirt, and I kept it under my bobs. And there was bruises on my ribs, and there was bruises on my back, and there was bruises over here on the side of my head, by my ear, and my jaw. And of course, our walls are really thin, so you're surprised. My mom is a carpet sweeper, and she heard every bit of it. I know she did. But because when he talked to my mom said that she didn't want no problems because they're our neighbors, and she said I could ignore them and I could just, you know. But how am I gonna ignore that when they live right next door and they're adjacent to our apartment? Like, there's no inside door that goes to their door to my door, but the walls were thin. So, mind you, I couldn't press charges because my mom didn't want to do nothing about it. And but I had bruises all over my ribs, all over my back, all over my legs, like my thighs, under my butt, the lines. I had bruises there. I had bruises on the side of my head, and my mom just said I could sit up for a while until I heal. And she called me out of school and all that good stuff. I was out for like a couple months. But later down the road, I was in like my 30s. I think I was like 32. And me and my husband were at Walmart. And well, we're not married. We've been together for 25 years, so I call him my husband. Common law, not a lot of people stand on it, but I do. You know, I'm on Social Security, so the married thing is kind of complicated. But, anyways, we were in Walmart, and unfortunately, he was looking at Hot Wheels at the time, so I had to stand there by myself. And she's much bigger girl than I am. She's a big bone girl, and I'm kind of like I was like one. I weigh 121 now, but I was about the same then. But I don't remember how we got on the topic, but she just simply said, "You're still not over that yet." Well, let's see. I grew up with osteoarthritis. So, with that said, and PTSD. Hello. But I had gained osteoarthritis, which is the constant popping and cracking of your bones. And I wake up sometimes in tears because of massive headaches. I went to the hospital with my mom. She had to get checked out or medicine or something, and I asked for a scan, and they had put me on this table, this metal table, and they told me to lay on my stomach. So I did, and they had this big light above me, and it had the handles on each side, and they were pulling it down and moving it around up and down side to side. And then they told me lay on my side, then they said lay on my other side, and they said that I had permanent nerve damage in my back. It was like a scanner or something. And so I really didn't really know what that meant for me. And now I haven't had it in a while, but I would get these surging electrocution pains that would shoot up my butt crack, and it would go up beside my spine and go up by my spinal right under my neck. And sometimes it would go up my spine, it would wrap around my waist, and it would wrap around my ribs, and it would just be like I was electrocuted. And it's like my lower half felt like it was like seized in place, like I couldn't move it, like it locked up. And then when it passes, I can gradually sit back down again. But I have really bad ROS issues, generally with my right leg, but I have a varicose vein in my right calf, so it's small, but it's there. Um, I can, right under here, like if you put your sides of your hands underneath the sides of your skull line right there, I can literally, no joke, push my skull off my vertebrae. I think it's like a click or two. I can click it once or twice up my vertebrae, and it relieves a little bit of pressure. So my instinct on that is what, like my skull is seeping down to my vertebrae and it's sliding or something. I don't know. But when I watch movies with my man, I can remember them short term, but I can't remember watching them long term. That's where the 51st dates comes in. And like long term things, they'll be like, remember this or this or that, and sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. And with the whole being born with, all that stuff, the downfall is like I was very in tune when I was a kid. Like it was just like I would touch something and I'd get like the static electricity, or I'd touch someone and get static electricity, or it just, and I didn't really understand that or whatever. But it's whatever. But um, Let's see what else. The disability with my hands, other than the double jointed thing, is because the whole not working thing is because my fingers and my hands will go numb, and if I'm holding something, I could drop it, and my hands will go numb sometimes where I'll lose feeling. Yeah, but so no, I'm not over it yet. It's given me severe PTSD more than what I had with growing up, with everything that I've dealt with, endured, and conquered, and or whatever, seen, heard, whatever. That definitely made it a lot worse for my PTSD. Just out of the blue, I feel sad or depressed or less than. But I'm trying to think so I don't leave nothing out. Oh, and for those who are asking while they're watching this video right now, no, she did not ask me. She did not come to me and ask me if that allegation was true. If I said that, she didn't care to ask me. And even if she did, I don't think she would have believed me. I'm not racist by any means at all. I don't care what color you are. She was white. I think she had some Hispanic in her, I don't know, but he was black, and I don't judge. They had a beautiful family. Because my family were those people, I tend to stay in my own race with relationships. My family were those people. But I wasn't. I didn't agree with their beliefs. But as far as relationships, it's easier and safer to stay with what I'm comfortable with. But I don't know if he took pictures or not. I want to say he took pictures to document it on his cell phone, but I don't know if he did. I think that would be all, but it wasn't the trauma that, like, of course, is going to traumatize anybody when you're jumped by 5 people. 2, 3, 4 people, sorry. But in my case, it was guys. And as if that wasn't bad enough. This girl and her sister, like, I had so much respect for them. And I'm just not the girl that wants to steal another woman's man, because I wouldn't want somebody to do that to me. And then the guy you're dating for like a year, like I get head pains right here. But yeah, I know that's my temple. And then the guy that I'm dating for like a little over a year or whatever, and then he's like drop kicking me in my head 5 times. It cut really deep. And that's why I have a really hard time making friends with people, because my trust issues are just really high. And I'm afraid of getting hurt, and I'm afraid of the letdowns, finding out that they really weren't your good friends, You just thought they were. And that's what hits home. out of the whole me getting jumped by 4 guys, that's what really hits home, is the fact that I thought that they were my friends, and I thought that he cared about me as a girlfriend, even though he wanted to cheat on me all the time. You know, I thought there was something there with him. Love him. Like, before that, I couldn't say I loved him because I knew he was cheating on me all the time. I know he was messing around. Nobody had to tell me. I can read on stupid shit like that. Anyways, this is my video of my attempted 50 first dates. This is why I do what I do. My videos and my inspirational things that I put out there in the YouTube, and I'm just trying to cause awareness and help other people that are struggling with things in life, and to let them know that I've been there. I've been to the darkest darks, the darkest holes. And that's why I say that if I can do this, if I can make it this far, and I can accomplish what I have, then you can too. It's so hard, though, getting to that point. I got sick many times. The stress, the headaches, I'm not gonna tell you it's easy, because it's not. But, if you have willpower, even just a little, you can conquer anything you put your mind to. And I hope this video helps people, and I hope it helps show and cause awareness. No, nothing come of it. Even after over 20 years, I'm always looking over my shoulder. I'm always extremely self-conscious, which is one reason why I use filters. I mean, I'm 42, you know, my skin's got the dark complexion, and I got some sagging from stress. Like, all this here you see is stress. But the indentions in my face, when it sinks in right here, first of all, I don't have my bottoms. That's a story, but so that's part of it. And getting kicked in the side of my head, that's another part of it. I've never done any hard drugs. I've done ecstasy. It was like Men in Black. It was like the lessest thing that you could get. It was like a 4-hour. I was like, you know, I don't know, 16, 17. No, I was 16, but only did it like twice. And no, it was like a 4-hour. It was nothing, and I remember everything of it. As I'm not that girl. But, you know, I guess that covers it. I will post more stories of my journey, trials, but obviously I'm gonna post them to YouTube, because TikTok wants to mute and silence my survival videos, but everybody else gets to put videos up and they don't get muted. I don't know. I can't make sense of it. But, there it is. So I'll end this video here. And please don't throw no shade or hate. I don't know why somebody would. But thank you for tuning in.